Well, I haven't been down to the shade area for a little bit, so it looks like cleanup mode down here. Bunch of weeds coming in, some limbs that are down, but today I do have some stuff out here that I probably will need to trim. So this ryegrass plot over here, I overseeded about 5 days ago. I have not seen any germination on that yet. Up near the house, I seeded another project a little bit ago and I saw germination at about day 7. So I think it's gonna be close, but today it's getting already long enough that I think I really probably should mow it before the germination happens, because we've got 2 possible days of rain coming, maybe a little more. By the time we would do that, this existing grass is gonna be pretty tall, and I'd like to try to keep it cut pretty tight, make sure that I don't let the existing stuff start to shade out any of that new stuff, and also I want to keep it lower and start training it down lower. So I may just do that today, and then I have a little project here on the edge I'll show you. I'm trying to extend out this plot just a bit because I noticed that the sprinklers are already kind of spraying onto some of these areas. So I'm adding a bit, about probably 200 square feet to this area just to extend it out a bit. So as I said, I extended out these edges, but with it being bare soil, it just dries out so fast. And even though I'm watering multiple times, I happened to see this at Lowe's on clearance. That I've used this before. It's not my absolute favorite thing to use as far as a covering, because it was so cheap there, and on clearance I decided to grab a few bags of that and put this down along the edge, just so that hopefully if this storm does come, it doesn't wash away all the seed that's on this edge. I did rake it in already a few days ago, but of course there's still gonna be some sitting up there on the soil. I'm so absolutely tired of the wind, I can't even describe it to you. Something you just cannot get rid of. There's this little strip of mulch that goes right through here, and it's so small, the way that the grass has just grown, that I just really can't bring the mower by without blowing mulch into the plots and stuff. So I think I'm gonna take the mulch out of here, and then I happened to notice that there was a big wet spot right here, and so I'm watching this irrigation head that's in this corner to see if water is seeping out of it or what's going on with it. So the mulch was kind of hiding all that too, and I didn't notice until I started moving this around and saw that everything was really wet here. I don't know how well this will show, but all these spots right here too is all wilt going on. So that's how dry it is already, and it's April. Mostly stuff you'd see midsummer, but not here. Well, I know that beggars can't be choosers, as they say, but 0.42, definitely hoping for more than that. So believe it or not, the last time that we had an inch of rain was sometime in December, and then we had one time in early August, and then it's just been sprinkled little amounts throughout there, but just not enough. So I got 2 plots behind me here. There's a smaller one right in front of me, and then there's a cutoff in the middle. And what I want to do here is a little experiment on this front ryegrass. They're both ryegrass, but on this one I'm going to be doing an experiment, and we'll talk about that too coming up. And then on the back half, I have another thing going that I actually started last fall that I hope to also talk to you very soon about, and do some leveling work on this front thing, and all that'll be coming up. But today I need to start it from about where it's at, probably 1.25 inches, start moving it down in height. This initial kind of scalping is done here. I'm gonna have more coming up on this very soon, so stay tuned. Be in some separate videos on this little project right here. So we actually had 2 rain days this week, which I'm absolutely thrilled about. We got just about 0.69 on this one, and my weather station that I have up near the house said 0.69 as well. So actually this time it's dead on. Sometimes they can be just a bit off. Usually they're fairly close, but even 1,000 feet away from the house just depends every once in a while on how much it rains and also how much that sensor up there takes everything in. So that's why I like to have the old school rain gauge like this, and then also the newer one, just to get a sense of things and keep track of it. And I have all the data year to year, which is nice. So as you can see from my outfit, it turned cold again as well. Last night my weather station read 28.2 as a low, and just last weekend, so last Sunday, we were at 86, somewhere around there for a high. You just never know what you're gonna get around here, but I'm back to wearing my coat today, my hat, because I was just starting to get used to it being warm, and then it decided to not be warm. Things were going pretty well with this ryegrass plot that I overseeded. I'm definitely seeing some germination out there. I just walked out very carefully to check a few spots, and I see some right along this fringe. Not quite as thick yet, but I wasn't watering it as consistently the first few days, and now that it's cold, I'm actually not really trying to get it to pop up too much, as we have some frost in the forecast again for the next 2 nights, it looks like. So everything out here that's just barely growing I think should be fine. It's pretty much shaded a bit by the grass that's there, but this thing along the fringe should start coming in about next week if it starts to warm up. Someone also asked in the comments how the main 6 plots would do in a situation where we're not watering them or taking care of them maybe quite as much, and so I actually already have that experiment going. That's over here. It's these 6 plots right here. I have all the stuff over here: rye, bluegrass, fine fescue, tall fescue, and then I have actually 2 different mono stands of tall fescue types that I was experimenting with over here. Last year we had one stretch of 5 weeks with no rain, and I've left these completely as is. I didn't water anything at all. The only time I've ever watered them is when we were establishing them, of course, but after that they've just been sitting on their own. So let's just look closely at a couple different spots. So here's kind of a bird's eye view of the rye. There's a few spots in here that saw some summer damage last year. I think though if I would rake that out and let everything else start to thicken up again, I don't think it looks like it's anything too terrible. Bluegrass about the same, except I really think that is just still looking dormant, which very typical of some of the bluegrasses to take a bit more warmth to get going here. Otherwise, really nothing in that plot that looks damaged. This is the fine fescue, and this one looks like it saw just a bit more from the drought last year. Just a few more spots through here. So again, I think I'll rake these out and just see how it recovers this spring. Tall fescue, I don't really see too many spots in here that look damaged, so everything looks good. I'd say everything else looks about as it should right now. Then last update for today, if you saw my video on the quick and easy seeding that I did up near the house here on this little path going out to the front yard, that has actually grown in fantastic. So here's a look at that. It really needs to be mowed already because I'd like to start taking this down and getting it trained at the lower height. We're not going to do that until this frost is over. So next week, hopefully start real mowing it manually, probably for the first few cuts at least. Start to get it to thicken up, and we'll do some fertilizer and things on it coming up too. So stay tuned for all of that. That's just a quick update today on a bunch of various things going on. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.